Been a while since we've talked about Concord. A lot of people have been speculating on what the future of this game is because Sony shut it down rather quickly, refunded everybody, and then it just kind of hung around. There was updates to the game recently. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about that because it looked like Sony was going to bring the game back as a free-to-play game. However, that isn't going to happen. Well, we now have a definitive answer to what the future of that game is, and you can see the headline, Sony closes Concord studio and permanently shuts down the game. So the studio, Firewalk Studios, they're closing. This just broke recently. A few game journalists have already posted. Jason Schreier posted, and Wario64, big gaming newsbreaker, has also put out the statement from Sony. It's over. Looks like Sony is going to just shut the game down and take the tax write-off. And I think they should get a tax write-off from this now. I don't know how much they'll actually save by doing this, but anything is better than spending more money. As we learned recently, this game is, at the minimum, a $400 million hole for Sony. It's likely more, much, much more. Speculation has been kicked around to $600 million lost from this. And, you know, even if it's just the $400 million, that's a lot of money, and it went nowhere. And not just money, time was also wasted on this game. Lots of time. And, you know, it's unfortunate. We learned about the toxic environment that this game was born in. A lot of toxic positivity, as they call it. Designs by committee. I don't know how so many people approved this if it came from a committee, but it's a story of people being out of touch and having their heads up their own asses. Sony is closing Firewalk Studios, the studio behind its PlayStation Concord game that it took offline last month after a disastrous launch. In a message to PlayStation staff, Herman Holst, CEO of PlayStation Studio Business Group, says Firewalk Studios will close alongside another studio, Neon Koei, a mobile game studio. So Sony is trying to push into mobile gaming. That's going to work out very well, I'm sure. We have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. He also said Concord didn't hit Sony's targets and that the PlayStation maker will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. How about you stop focusing on live service? Because clearly it's not the money maker you thought it was going to be. It's more like a money pit. Everybody wants their Fortnite, but they failed to see that you can't just make that and expect it to go off. Like, they thought this was going to do Overwatch numbers. They called it the future of PlayStation. They thought they could just make some woke garbage version of Overwatch and it would take off, and that didn't happen. You could tell that they thought the modern audience was going to show up for them. That didn't happen. Concord debuted on August 23rd on both PS5 and PC, but Sony took the game down on September 6th after poor sales of the game. Estimates have put sales at under 25,000, and Concord only managed to hit an all-time peak of just 697 players on Steam, lower than the launch peak of Lord of the Rings Gollum. I didn't know that. That game's a piece of shit, too. It's embarrassing. Here's the full statement over here on VGC. They actually have the whole thing. I read you half of the statement. The other half is on that mobile game studio that I don't know anything about games. So I guess kudos to them for coming to the realization finally that this was never going to work. and you can't just turn it into a free-to-play, because why would anybody play this? They'll just go play Overwatch like they were already doing, or Apex Legends or Fortnite. That's where everybody is. You can't just break into this and expect money. I can't stand all these live service games, and I really hope that this causes a lot of these studios to step back and realize, maybe this isn't where the money is. They all think they're going to come in and get this easy money by doing these live service games, and it just doesn't work out. I've read more about these games failing and shutting down than I have of them actually being successful. So can we go back to just making amazing single-player games again, or maybe maybe traditional like arena shooters or something like Halo, or I hate to say Call of Duty, but like a multiplayer based game. Not everybody likes these these giant war zone maps and stuff, but anyway, that's it. Concord's over. There will be no rebirth, and Sony is going to save a lot of money just doing a tax write-off. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.